When we visited with the sheriff and with the city manager and with the mayor of a small town in Arizona named Yuma, Arizona. Yuma, Arizona, 3 years ago, in that area, had 8,100 people illegally cross in that year. For that one small town, they were trying to manage 8,100 people crossing 3 years ago. This past year, Yuma, Arizona had 310,000 people illegally cross through their area. So in 3 years, they went from 8,000 people illegally crossing to 310,000 people illegally crossing in a year. They're overwhelmed. May I remind you, the mayor of New York is worried about an additional 40 to 50,000 people in New York City and having a difficult time absorbing that. Yuma, Arizona is trying to figure out how to absorb 310,000 people coming through their community. The issues are complicated and they're difficult, but they're not unachievable. It's an issue of how we're going to enforce the law. People from all over the world are coming because there's an invitation to illegally cross the border. People are coming right now, easier to get a job in America if you illegally cross. That's not just me saying that, that's the data saying that. If you're outside the United States and you apply for a work visa and want to be able to come in a legal, normal process to be able to go through, currently it is 6.5 months to be able to get that work visa. 6.5 months. But if you illegally cross our border and you're labeled with parole, which is the mass number of people are labeled with parole when they illegally cross our border, you get a work permit within 3 to 4 weeks. So you could legally do this and wait 6.5 months, or you could illegally do this and you get it in 3 to 4 weeks. Literally, this administration is incentivizing illegal activity with how they're setting up the work permits. And as I mentioned before, these are not just individuals from Central America or from Mexico. These are individuals coming from all over the world. When our bipartisan CODEL was down on the border a few weeks ago, we watched 2 individuals that had just been picked up by Mounted Patrol as they were running across the border, but they were not running faster than the Mounted Patrol was able to catch up with them, and they were able to arrest them. Those 2 individuals were Chinese nationals that were making their way across the border illegally at night, running from the Border Patrol. Now, the administration has made some bold statements of late. They said we're going to dramatically increase the number of people that are going to have expedited removal attached to them. Now, that sounds really severe, expedited removal. They're going to have expedited removal when they get there, except when we ran the numbers to be able to look at it, how many people are actually removed that get expedited removal, the number came back 7%. So expedited removal doesn't actually mean removal. It's just a title that's being placed on individuals. So nothing's really changing there. Now, I would tell you, I've met with the Border Patrol many times over the years, and one of the things they'll often talk to me about is they finally get a break each December. Because typically, because of Christmas, quite frankly, not as many people cross illegally during the Christmas time. They stay home with families. And so December is usually a down month for illegal crossings, and it is year after year after year until this year. This year, there was a record number of people illegally crossing in December. So instead of going down, it actually went up. We had 250,000 people illegally cross our southwest border in 1 month. That was last month in December. 250,000 people. This is a growing issue that requires attention. But there's also the legal process of actually enforcing our laws on the southern border that will make a significant difference, not incentivizing individuals to be able to illegally cross our border. There are things the administration can do, and they're not doing currently. There are things that this body needs to do that we've not taken up. 250,000 people illegally crossed our southwest border last month. When are we going to act on this problem?